Junkies.
What's going on, golf addicts? Welcome to the Tour Junkies golf show on the Better Sports Network. I'm DB. I'm your normal host. I'm back from vacation.
Welcome back, DB.
Thank you, Pat. Why does the tan show up better on the Better Sports Network show than it does on our own show? Like last time,
I noticed that. Yeah.
I looked real flushed out. Like, oh, now I looked real white on last show.
The tan is showing. The tan is showing a little bit.
Huh? This is actually self-tanner I applied this morning. No, it's not. Good to have a little bit of a break. Glad I missed the 3M. Absolute travesty of just, what did I say a couple weeks ago? A cacophony of shit showery.
Yeah, it was something. Yeah, I was quite impressed with that word.
It's kind of like it is. I think we had that again for the 3M. Just carnage everywhere. Just 2% of lineups were 6 of 6 in DFS. People's bets got broken hard. Everybody just got their absolute throat punched by the 3M Open. And you, Pat, leave the keys of the kingdom in your hands only. And
am I not up enough units already?
1 week you don't talk about Lee Hodges. He wins by 7.
Well, I did talk about him on our betting show, the Tour Junkies betting show. I didn't talk about him on this show, I don't believe. And he was not on my betting card. So you're correct. You've seen this before. You've seen the same story before, DB, where there's a guy I've been on, and then all of a sudden I just forget to talk about him or bet him. And that's what happened with Hodges.
I mean, it's to take the words right out of producer Tony. I know he'll type this. If I said this is an early, just the tip, he would say a pre-tip.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a pre-tip, and we've talked about it a good bit this year. We talked about it with Wyndham. We talked about it with Ricky. I've talked about it with Tommy, even though it hadn't happened. But like, you kind of get your guys that you get bullish on at a certain point of the year, and there's reasons for you. There's reasons for you continuing to play these guys. You continue to be a believer. If you're a believer, you're a believer. And you're a believer in Hodges' game. I like Hodges too. I feel like he's a good player, but you've definitely had more of a Hodges, hard on. I mean, you've had a Hodges hard on for most of the season, and I feel like, that is a good thing. I think that's good. I think that means I think technically we could say you were kind of there.
Yeah,
but you didn't
finish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate for you. Really unfortunate.
Sometimes we don't follow our tips, DB. Sometimes we don't follow our tips. They're pointing in the right direction, and we just don't even.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Listen to them. But
what did I say to Tony right before we started recording? I said, Tony, I could see it maybe getting off the rails a little bit.
Yeah.
A directional tip.
Yeah.
Oh, God. I wonder if we'll still have a show on the Better Sports Network.
Listen. It's the Wyndham Championship. We're getting down to the nitty gritty of the season here. Not even this is kind of the end of the regular season, getting into the playoffs, and these things happen. Okay.
Yeah.
Things start to go off the rails a little bit. It's kind of like JT posted on the 18th hole. He went off the rails, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. He went off the rails. It could have been, an easy, just 3-shot birdie, par. Made a lot of FedEx points. Made some dollars. Instead, he just.
Let me ask you a question. Because we talked about this on the show last night. We went after it because we disagree on this topic. I think JT made the right decision, and we won't get all up into it. But I do have a different angle now.
Oh, see, you've had more time to think about it.
You've had the same amount of time to think about it.
I know, but I had other things.
So did I.
I do. Okay, but I do have something I want to close with. Then I have a closing argument.
Do you think Tiger would have played it safe 200 yards out after his first shot? Do you think Tiger would have done that?
No, but I also don't think Tiger would have hit it he would have hit it 5 feet.
No, don't say that. Like
You can't compare JT Poston to Tiger.
you can compare. Yeah, I'm saying the mentality. Right?
Yeah,
Like
the mentality is. I said this last night. I didn't mind the mentality.
Mhm.
Technically, I just thought in this situation the mentality wasn't necessarily warranted.
You can't deny the mentality. If you have the Mamba mentality, the Tiger mentality, you can't deny it. And you're sitting there. Yeah, I mean, JT tweeted he wasn't going to play for second. He would have made the same decision 10 times out of
I
10.
saw that. I saw
And
that.
we went into it last night, but to me, I still think one of the biggest points that people are forgetting is that if you're standing up on that tee, and we gotta talk to him about this, or Flint. I'd love to talk to JT. Maybe he'd do something with us. We're boys with him. But
Yeah.
I want to ask him, did you think to yourself standing on the tee, hey, I know I can still make double and be solo second, and the odds of me making worse than double are even lower than the odds of me making eagle. To me, that's the key, because he's already allowing himself 2 extra shots over par to play with. And when you have that, I just think that's all the difference. If bogey, if a double would have got him in trouble, then maybe I could see it being a little bit different. But double still keeps him in solo second. And the odds of him making an 8 on that hole are so low. That's what I think is key to this.
Okay. And I think that's a great point. My biggest thing is this: it actually has nothing really to do with the dollars, and and I have to thank Tony for quantifying it a little more, which I didn't have this last night. But you know, he cost himself some FedEx points with
I
this
get
whole deal.
that. That's
You
a good
know,
point.
he
It is.
would have earned 300. He got 208. Okay, so he was 60th going into the 3M. Now he's 49th, and he would have been 38th with the solo second. There's a big difference there when you're trying to get into designated events next year, all of these kind of things that are more dollars than the 200 and whatever it was, 60,000 that he cost himself in that moment. And my also thing is this: I think you're right in your line of thinking with he's in his mind, he's thinking about the odds maybe, but also like really what are the odds that he would have tied Lee Hodges? When you're if you're playing with Lee Hodges, where I think it was 2 rounds, I could have been just on Sunday, and Hodges is just throwing a clinic out the whole week. He's not making mistakes.
I know, but like I said last night, JT can only control JT. He cannot control Hodges. Hodges is trying to win for the first time in his career, which we've seen crazier things happen to guys trying to do that. We're weeks removed from one of JT's best boys, Sepp Straka, on the brink of a 59, cruising like nothing was wrong on the last hole of the John Deere and hitting a dumb shot into the water from 150 yards. Like anything could have happened, even with how Hodges was playing. And you just have to, you can only control yourself. That's it. So is that, yeah. The FedEx Cup argument does. I get that. That could prove costly. I got something I want to rant about here in a second, but before I do, Tony's got a comment here. I would like to bring Tony up for comment here.
So I have this thought with Rory McIlroy a lot. Your guys' boy, Rory McIlroy. So you guys mentioned the money there with JT and DB. You bring up a good point, and if his mindset or if his thought was, if I won't finish worse than tied for second if I make double, triple, whatever here. Mm-hmm. So I looked it up. JT Poston, not a big name, golf junkies know him, but he's made $8.5 million. To me, him losing $250K because he tried to go for it and a miracle finish, something like that, doesn't matter. It's kind of I've had the same mindset or thought with Rory over the last 10 years, I guess, 8 years. How does, when you're making that much money, because even $8.5 million, that's a lot of money.
Tony, he's made 13 on tour. His career earnings is 13 million. I looked it up yesterday.
I must be looking at an old Google here. So,
yes. So yeah, continue your point.
But yeah, so I wonder about, does Rory care if he's on the tee at 17 and he goes bogey and loses $500K, as opposed to I'm just going to send it here and try to win this golf tournament. How much does the money that you've made in your career, how much does that affect your competitive balance, good or bad, full send or play it safe for a professional golfer?
Completely agree. And I think that's where the FedEx Cup points argument is actually more compelling to me. That gives me more pause, because if you get those points and you advance so far into the top 50, which part of my rant is how damn confusing the PGA Tour's setup is, but it's like finishing the top 50 after next week. Is that right, Pat?
Yeah.
So it's top 50, and you're guaranteed the designated events, right?
Yeah.
So that could play. That could translate into a lot of earning opportunity, right?
A lot of dollars.
That I kind of get, because I could see that opportunity multiplying more so than the 260. Plus, the 260 is like, by the time he gives everybody a cut of that, he's got to give a cut of that 260. Like, his personal net loss for making that decision is even less. So yeah, it is an interesting debate. It's a very interesting debate. I think at the end of the day, it probably comes down to the athlete. It comes down to the situation. And there's definitely people on both sides. I put up a video about it on our Instagram and TikTok. So far, the only comments have been comments that agreed with my take, Pat. But so if you want to rally people who disagree to go ahead and comment, you need to do that.
Okay, I'll do that. Well, I mean, the thing is, I think it's an argument that I don't mind both sides of it. I'm just saying, I think there's a lot that, there's some things that could have been done, but whatever. I mean, it cost his caddy some money, but I don't think, his caddy Fleener maybe doesn't care. I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't really speak for any of them. So I also, here's what I will say. This goes back to society in general, DB. Okay. People can have a disagreement, and I could disagree with what JT did, but it doesn't mean I don't like him, or I don't respect what he's trying to do. I just disagreed with the decision.
Right.
I mean, but it really does not mean I love JT. I think he's a great player. He's a great dude.
Yeah.
I disagreed with the decision, but it doesn't mean I don't like the dude.
100%. Yeah. I will say this. This is funny. Our boy Kenny McAndrews, who's made a couple of appearances here on the Better Sports Network, one of the best football handicappers out there. Kenny, oh dear, he loves golf. He's such a golf addict. That's why he loves talking to us and coming on this show. Kenny gave out a bet in his Discord, and the bet was Tony Finau and JT to both go bogey free in round 4 to pay out 31-1. And Kenny personally laid down $300, but I will tell you, knowing Kenny the way I do, he cares way more about the bet hitting for his community than he does the actual dollar amount that he wagers. But he put $300 on this thing at 31-1. Tony goes out, he's bogey free. Poston is bogey free, coming to the 18th hole, and makes that decision and loses the bet for Kenny. And it is just a terribly bad beat.
It really is
painful. Like, I feel that in my plums for Kenny.
You know who doesn't care about that, though? JT Poston.
He
doesn't care.
Have we ever had a bad beat similar to that? Or like, what's our worst? I'm trying to think of our worst bad beat. Well, first of all, I'm not going to remember it because I don't remember hardly anything. So
I tell you what was close to my worst bad beat was just a few weeks ago when Sepp was coasting to a win and almost lost. Speaking of JT Poston like decisions, and hits it in the water on a fairly easy 150-yard, was probably a 9-iron for him.
Yeah.
Luckily, that did not turn into a bad beat, but I'm trying to think. DFS, if you're really close to the top on some tournaments, a lot of little things can change. Putt here and there. Somebody gets, has a bogey-free round. Somebody has all rounds in the 4 rounds in the 60s and gets the bonus points. Some of those things can change your payout very quickly, and you don't necessarily know or not. It's hard to figure out all the scenarios around you. But I don't know if I've had anything major happen like that.
Yeah, I can't think of anything. I mean, just because my memory just sucks. And
I feel like Denny McCarthy, me losing that bet a few weeks ago.
Your bet, I actually remember yours, the Colin Morikawa outright in Hawaii this year.
Oh, yeah. That was, yeah.
I still don't think it's as bad as Kenny's.
No, it's not as bad as that.
On that hole, I mean, you got to just be standing there. Like when he makes it through 17, you just got to be like, oh, worst case scenario, he'll par here, and the bet hits. But God, that sucks. Yeah, that's a tough one. Anyway, the 3M, whatever. Lee Hodges, happy for him. We like Lee Hodges. He seems like a good dude, Alabama guy. By the way, we don't have to get into it, but I did kind of a breakdown of him absolutely just slanging it out and totally alpha mailing Nick Saban. The tour posted Nick Saban calling him on the phone on speaker to give a congratulatory call because Hodges played golf at University of Alabama. Coach Saban calls him to congratulate him, and it is a masterclass in being an alpha dog.
Now with Lee, he's right here. Hold on.
Hey, Coach.
Hey, Dave. How you doing?
How are you, bud?
Great. Congratulations.
Thank you, pal. Appreciate that, man.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Thank you,
You
dude.
had a great one, huh?
Yeah, no. There's not many times you win by 7, so it was pretty fun.
I usually watch it at night. I'm rooting for you, so I found
Thank you, Coach. I appreciate that. You guys get after, all right?
Yeah, we're getting ready to go on Players Report Wednesday and start practicing Thursday.
All right, perfect. Well, good luck this season, Coach. I appreciate you calling.
All right, thanks, buddy.
Thanks, man.
Lee Hodges completely just literally kind of just tells Nick Saban in so few words, like, all right, old man, that's enough. I'm done talking to you. Thanks for the call. I got better things to do. See ya. To Nick Saban. It was fantastic. So check that out on our Instagram, TikTok, if you haven't already. All right, we got to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about this week, the Wyndham Championship, give you a little bit of a tip, talk a little bit about some golf betting, big picture game theory stuff. Pat's got first round leader bets. DraftKings cash game lineup has got to be better than last week. I heard Pat just absolutely just pissed all over that.
It was horrible.
All right, stay right here. We'll be right back on the Better Sports Network.
Deutsch here, live at the Scott Fishbowl 13 New York City Draft at Tito Murphy's. The first round of the Shake Shack division is underway. If you can believe it, team number 1, you're going to love this, Mike Lipchenko selects Tua Tagovailoa, quarterback, Miami Dolphins in the 101. An unbelievable, surprising pick here in the 4th spot. From the game day, Scott the King Engel. How does he start his draft? Not with a Seattle Seahawk, but the Buffalo Bills quarterback Josh Allen will lead Scott Engel's team. He's right here. King, what do you think about Josh Allen to start your team?
I didn't think he was actually going to fall to me. The Tua Tagovailoa pick was off the board. Mike said he was going to pivot, so it was just a matter of who's going to fall to me. I just always think about, okay, who's the top guy on my board, who's going to fall to me. But having Josh Allen at 4 proves that every draft has a different flow and you never know what's going to happen.
Bobby Cable's here. Tell us about the Scott Fishbowl charity personally touched your family.
So basically, when I joined the military, when you get called up, you don't necessarily get money right away. It takes 30 days for any money to hit your account. And what I'm telling you is that if it wasn't for people like Scott Fishbowl and Toys for Tots, my family wouldn't have had a Christmas. So stuff like this, I'll Hulk smash somebody for, because without it, my family would legitly not have a Christmas because of it.
Scott Fishbowl and fantasycares.org, of course, break the hole. Amazing job for everybody to come out here. And look what we've given ourselves here. A whole Saturday at a New York City bar to ourselves. No family, no job. Some of us working. But really, fantasy football party here with the best people in New York City together. So congratulations to everybody.
Making you money in daily fantasy sports and golf betting. Tour Junkies on Better Sports Network.
Have you drafted your fantasy football team yet? Well, before you do, make sure you head over to Fantasy Alarm for the updated fantasy football cheat sheet. It's the one-stop shop for dominating your drafts, and it's digital, constantly updated with new information. You can purchase the draft guide for $26.99 or get it free with a monthly or annual subscription to Fantasy Alarm. Start your free 7-day trial of Fantasy Alarm All Pro and get immediate free access to the draft guide. Head over to fantasyalarm.com. Get that hooked up. I got to get ready for fantasy football, man. I don't know. I never feel prepared. Ever since we started doing TJ, man, it's just like
it's hard.
The golf season kind of not peaks, but the playoffs are exciting. You got good fields, and the last major of the year's in July, and so I feel like I don't pay any attention to training camp. And then by the time I'm able to start prepping in late August, like I feel like an idiot that I don't know, what team this quarterback's. I would still think like Aaron Rodgers plays for the Packers or something. I just never feel updated. So I need a draft kit like Fantasy Alarm to help me out.
And injuries, we get injuries because it's training camps right now. You got to pay attention to those.
Who's holding out? Who's holding what? Who's holding stuff? I don't know.
All the running backs are all fighting.
Yeah, I mean, are we even going to have? Are there replacement running backs coming? Is Keanu Reeves going to be a running back here?
Maybe
NFL. I don't know, like rookie names.
It sounds like it's just going to be a bunch of wide receivers running around the way that drafts are going. It's like everybody just doesn't, or they're doing the zero running back strategy, which I understand is not technically zero running backs, but it's just a bunch of wide receivers right now running all around, throwing it.
It's like Bugs Bunny cartoon back in the day when he would throw it to himself, catch it, and run. Remember that? Remember Bugs Bunny? Anyway.
Bugs. Are you talking about Charlie Brown?
No, I know Charlie. Oh, did Charlie Brown do that? I thought Bugs Bunny did it too.
I think it was Charlie Brown.
No, Charlie Brown did do it, but I think Bugs Bunny also did it.
Okay.
Because he was fast.
Yeah.
Anyway, like I remember last year, so when I started to prep for football, and like I'd see these names, I'm like, who the is that? And it was some top receiver out of USC or something that I'd never heard of. So I got to get educated because I got to have a good fantasy football year. Anyway, that's that. Pat, we've got the Wyndham Championship this week, which is the final event of the regular season. It's the last chance for these guys to get in the top 70 of the FedEx Cup playoff rankings. If they get into the top 70 after this week, they continue on next week in the first playoff event. If they don't, their season is over, and they don't play golf again until September. Unless you're Justin Thomas and you don't make it and you just get to pick for the Ryder Cup by default. Anyway, so it's a big week for a lot of guys. There's the bubble boys. There's a lot of bubble boys that we need to be paying attention to here. Yep. So I guess let's go through a couple of key ones first. Well, sitting at number 76 is wait a minute, is this right? Hold on, this isn't right. Hang on. Let me get to it better. Let me get to the projections here or the standings. Okay. Yeah, that's right. Okay, 76. Yeah, right. Yeah. Shane Lowry. 79. Justin Thomas. 81. Adam Scott. 82. Joel Damon. Who else we got? That's kind of a notable here. Gary Woodland. 97. Billy Horschel. 116. I think I saw something where Lowry has to finish like 22nd or 23rd to secure his playoff berth. I'll just go ahead and give this a freebie. I love the Shane Lowry top 20 bet. It's plus 170 is the best number currently on DraftKings, but I really like that. I think Shane is an undervalued player in this field, especially if you look long term. Like I would put him up there with like Hideki, Sam Burns, Shane Lowry, maybe Sung Jae, I guess JT. Those are like the top 5 players in this field over the last 2 years, right?
Yeah.
And he's had a consistent year, very consistent year. 8 top 20s in like 15 events so far this season, or in 2023. Missed the cut at the Open, but I went back and looked at it. It was like he had a great round 1. I think the conditions kind of bit him at the Open, and he struggled in round 2, missed the cut, whatever. So I think that's a nice one. I like that one a lot. What do you think JT's going to do? What's going to happen? Did you see the press clipping that I put in our Discord from his interview?
I didn't. I wasn't able to see it yet. so you can maybe talk on that after this. But I think that I feel like JT is going to give it a good run this week. But man, I mean, that's a pretty good ways out. 9 spots out. Where does he have to finish? He probably has to have at least a top 15.
Yeah, I think he's got to be top 15 or so. I don't know
Yeah.
exactly. I didn't see that one, but
So what did he say?
I will say, you know, this is one of the things I do for our Discord every week is I go through and I read all the press transcripts and I clip and screenshot what I think is pertinent for gambling and I put it in our Discord. JT's a pro, right? Like he's a pro at being in front of the media. He's a pro at talking to them. He's been doing it for a long time. He knows what to say, what not to say. But I do get the feeling for the most part that he's a pretty honest guy with the media. And what he said today, he sounds like mentally he's in a good spot. Like he doesn't sound overall like I could read this whole thing to you. I mean, they asked him a lot of questions about it, and props to him for not pulling a Rory and being like, "Oh, I'm not doing any interviews this week, people. I need to focus." Like he got up there and he's taking his lumps. They're asking a lot of questions about the Ryder Cup, about playoffs, about his play, about slumps, and he's taking them and he's answering them. But this is kind of what he said to start. He said, "Yeah, I mean, expectations. I don't necessarily have anything in particular. I know I'm really, really close to playing some really, really good golf." You can tell he's been hanging out with Tiger a lot. I'm really, really close to playing some really, really good golf. The reality is, you know, I need to play well this week to give that an opportunity to come out in terms of the playoffs. That's the unfortunate but also realistic part of where I'm at right now. I'm excited. I think it's an unbelievable opportunity. I'm enjoying it. I think it's great for the Wyndham. And he goes on to talk about how he's excited and that he feels like everything is so close. He just said, I think he said something about his round last week. Was it round 2 or something? Where he said, I had 2 swings that cost me 5 shots last week. And if those 2 swings don't happen, I'm in a totally different position. So, I mean, it sounds like he's saying the right things and he's believing the right things and he feels like it's close. This is one of those times where we just, you know, do you buy it? Number one. And even if you do buy it, and even if he buys it, still doesn't mean he's going to do his thing.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm kind of buying it though this week. I'm feeling some JT. I don't know if the win's coming, but I think there's going to be, you know, it's going to be a very positive week for him that could possibly sneak him into the top 70. Way more on the line too with potential Ryder Cup type stuff. So I'm buying into a little bit of the JT stuff. I don't know where he is on the top 20s. He's for top 20. He is plus 190. I don't mind that either. I really don't.
Scares me. That one scares me way more than Shane Lowry. Just the putter is what worries me. Like he's been so bad with the putter, and I think this is going to be a pretty soft, gettable course. There's rain coming. Winning score has been 20 under every year since 2016, with one exception. The cold putter concerns me.
Yeah, a
top 40, I get down with that. And I know he needs more than that, but that doesn't mean he's going to get it. So, what about I mean, there's a couple other names in here we could talk through. Like Adam Scott's an intriguing name at 81. He's going to have a really good week, and he's had he almost won here a couple years ago when Kiz won. He's been putting it really well. Joel Damon at 82. I don't see anything in Joel's game right now that gives me hope. Like,
no, I haven't
he
either.
is on the struggle bus, like big time on the struggle bus. He's not. His last good finish was in November.
My goodness.
Dude, that was his last top 40, top 30 finish, and it was a 5th. He played so well in the fall. What in the world happened?
Has he felt like kind of like out of it this year? Like there's been sort of like,
oh, Netflix happened. That's what happened.
Well, yeah, Netflix happened. But it's also kind of felt like this has just been a year for him. He just hasn't quite been into it. I don't know. And maybe that is the Netflix thing. Like he felt, we saw him at the Wells Fargo, and he seemed a little kind of burnt out at that point. Like there were so many demands on him with the Netflix stuff and all that kind of like it just felt like this year was just not going to go so well. Yep. But he's certainly got the game to have all of that come back. So.
Yeah. The last really interesting one to me is Billy Horschel. We talked about him
Yeah.
a good bit. I am buying. I'm buying Billy Ho this week. If he burns me, he burns me. He needs a big week. I mean, I think he's basically got to win.
Yeah.
He's won like 115 or 116 or something in the FedEx Cup playoffs. It'll be the first time he missed the playoffs in a while, and obviously got a lot of game. Showed up at 3M and finished 13th last week. His record here is insanely good. He loves this place. It seems like a great get right spot for Billy Ho. So, doubt he wins. Don't know that I'll probably bet him outright just because the number's good, but I think he makes for an interesting top 20 play, maybe even top 10 play, DraftKings play, all that stuff. Anybody else in terms of FedEx Cup we need to talk about? I guess. I mean, there's obviously the guys just inside the line that kind of need to hang on.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at is some of the guys, your bigger, not bigger names, but there's some people in here. Like Cam Davis is right on the bubble here at 69. Been playing well lately. Austin Eckroat is right there at 70.
Yeah.
So they're trying to stay in there, obviously, but there's
I
not
like
any.
Davis. I like Davis. I like him a lot this week.
I do too. There's not really like big names though on the inside of the bubble that I feel like could drop out. Like Hideki is probably the biggest name inside, but he's at 56. I don't think there's any danger for him. So other than that, there's really not any major names like you see just outside with Shane Lowry and Justin Thomas.
I gotta say, I really do love the fact that it's top 70 into the playoffs because it has created a lot more drama with bigger names than typically this time of year. We're looking at the keep your card line, which is the 125, and that's what we're staring at. It's like, oh my God, these guys are going to lose their card. Well, the guys that are on that bubble are usually guys that nobody gets real jazzed up about. So you don't have these big name players in the field that because they don't have to be. And whereas this week, you got guys that are here because they need a good week. So I've really enjoyed that. My rant that I was going to get into earlier that I'll spare everybody from getting into too much, but the tour makes it so damn complicated, dude. Like,
it is.
Between the FedEx Cup standings are fine, they're okay, but I mean, hell, I do this for a living full time. You do it almost full time. Like, we've been doing it 8 years. Why do I not understand all of it already? Like, it's so complex how they do it. And I don't know if it's all the changes in the last couple of years, but I mean, I was hand up today years old when I learned that the top 125 to keep your tour card goes through the RSM, which I'm sure at some point I knew that. It's well documented. My memory is terrible. So I'm sure at some point when it all rolled out, I was like, oh, dang, that's different. 125 through the RSM. Okay. But then at some point that vacated my brain because I'm used to how it's always been. And I totally forgot about it again.
And guess what they're going to do?
They're going to change it again.
Change it all again. So it's almost why that's the reason you can't have a rant about it. Because if you're just going to have this long rant and get all upset, and then it's just going to be changed again, and you're wasting energy. Okay.
Can I tell you that, like, on a weekly basis, Rob Bolton, the guy that works for the PGA Tour that does a lot of stuff on Twitter, you have to follow him if you bet on golf. Like, almost on a weekly basis, I read some of the things that Rob Bolton puts out, and I'm like, he's the smartest man in the world. How he figures out, how he's come to understand the ranking system, and like what category guys are playing in and out of and how they're working it up and how they're, working down and what they need to do to get here and how many starts left here and temporary membership earned here, but he's got to hold his wiener just right to get to this category. And it's unbelievable. I mean, it's a doctoral degree to figure out that part. I'm not even talking about the FedEx Cup stuff. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I agree. And I wonder, though, too, if part of the next change is to start to actually simplify. It's kind of like the tax code. Like my dad's a CPA, and this, like, everybody's trying to you got to have all these people to figure out the tax code, and then they just change it. Like,
Yeah.
is that what the tour is? Is it always going to be that way, or are they going to simplify it at some point? But because the tax code's never going to get changed. So
About once a month, looking at some of the stuff Rob Bolton puts out, I think to myself, you would have to lock me in a room for a week with Rob Bolton. And the only thing I was allowed to do was eat, sleep, go to the bathroom, and listen to Rob Bolton try to educate me on how the rankings and the conditional status and the full status and the partial, temporary, movable obstruction status, like all of the things. Like, it would take that long for me to figure it out. It's unbelievable. It's so complicated.
Yeah, it is. It is complicated.
Can you imagine, like, there's zero chance like DJ would ever understood that in his PGA Tour career, right? Like, there's no way he could give you that.
Here's the thing. You got to also feel for some of the agents out there because they got to figure out a lot of this stuff too. So, like, because they got to be able to, you know, relay it to their players, especially the ones on the fringe, enough to, you know, they got to lay it out enough for their player to know exactly, you know, what they're up against. So it's really the agents who this falls on more, I think, than the players themselves.
That'd be brutal. You got any first round leader bets, Pat?
I got a few. Yeah, I think you're gonna like these.
What the weather's looking a little. What's the word? Voltaic.
Voltaic. Lots of electricity in the air.
It could be some boomers.
Could be some boomers.
Could some clappers.
Could be some delays.
Yeah.
I think with that, I'd have 5 guys really, and
God, 5 Guys is one of my favorites, by the way.
Yeah.
Do you, like 5 Guys burgers and fries? I would put it up against anything. Any burger and fries.
And the fact that they have vinegar for the fries.
Oh, that is my love language. Vinegar,
so good,
fries. Dude. Yeah. And the like when you just get that bag and you got, you know, and you know they're gonna put the extra scoop of fries in there for you. But damn, don't you still feel like you just got away with something? You know, you pull your burger out, you pull your cup of fries out, but then you see like a fourth of the bag is covered in fries. You just feel like, damn, somebody, you know, Randall wasn't paying attention, and he just double scooped my bag. And you just feel like you took something. And then you set that bag down, you rip it open, you spread the fries out, you hit that vinegar all over them bitches. God, dude,
man, it's so good. And
I love 5 Guys.
Listen, this could be a hot take, DB, because I'm getting the burger anyway when I'm there, but I don't mind a hot dog from there. Now I'll get one and add it to the burger. Like, I'm never going to go and just get the hot dog.
Wow. What are you? Okay, fat ass, slow down.
But,
I mean, I don't
for later maybe.
I've never ordered I've never ordered the hot dog, but one of my sons has ordered it before, and I've taken a bite. It's very good. It's very very good. But I can't not get the burger, and then I am loading up on fries. Okay. I'm going to gorge myself on those fries.
Let me tell you something that's going to make you sad. All right, because see, you're getting up to that 40-year-old point. I don't personally. I'm in the halfway area of the 40s. I don't go to places like 5 Guys a lot because you start to recognize when you can't do those. Like, I will say in the last 52 weeks, I have not been to a 5 Guys because you get so worried about eating stuff like that.
Pat, do you remember when I started losing weight that 5 Guys was the restaurant I didn't eat at?
Oh yeah, I do remember that now.
I like if you.
But now I want 5 Guys like right this second.
I do too. Tony, you could go back and pull a screenshot of my face in 2018 or 2019 from the Tour Junkies YouTube page. That face, everything extra that you see in that face is 5 Guys. That's what that was. I would eat 5 Guys all the time. And then when I started trying to change my lifestyle, I remember saying, I'm going to go 6 months and not eat 5 Guys. And I made it. And then at 6 months, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go a year. I can do it. And I did it for 1 year. I didn't eat 5 Guys. And I remember the day I walked into 5 Guys.
I remember that too. Yeah.
It's the best.
Well, anyway, maybe 5 Guys will send us like a little voucher or something.
Oh God, I love this. Huh?
Shit, man.
Anyway,
okay, here we go. First round leaders. 5 Guys. Billy Horschel, 65-1. He goes off in the morning, very early. I like Horschel. I like Ben Griffin is at 70-1. He goes off in the afternoon. So does Garrick Higo at 80-1. Higo's been playing really well.
Yeah.
Let's see. Doug Gim is at 80-1. I like Doug Gim. And then I just feel like you could see this guy, this little wee man up on the leaderboard. He goes off in the morning to Mr. David Lingmerth at 120-1. Little David Lingmerth at 100. Yeah. He's had a quietly good season. As a matter of fact, when I was looking at the standings, he's up there somewhere, like in the top close to. Oh yeah, he's at 74th right now.
That's insane. David Lingmerth is higher than Shane Lowry and Justin Thomas in the FedEx Cup playoffs.
I know. Yeah.
That's insane. That's insane. What's Lucas Glover's first round leader number?
Lucas Glover is
This is a transition. This is a transition here.
okay. Lucas Glover is 80-1.
80-1. All right. So I'm going to get into just the tip right now. Congrats. I'm going to get into just the tip. And we're just going to do a little exercise. This is like the math class solving the problem together on the board.
I wasn't wanting any math today.
It's not really involving math. It's just like that.
Okay.
Because the finishes don't always tell the story. Pat, you talked about not being able to finish earlier. Doesn't always tell the story. There could be underlying issues, underlying factors. And last week, while I was on vacation, I went pretty hard into Lucas Glover finishing top 40. And I felt great about it. He had 3 straight top 6 finishes. He'd finished 4th, 5th, and 6th in his previous 3 events. It appeared that the broomstick putter had changed his life. His ball striking has never left him. He's always been an incredible ball striker. And it felt like a very good bet. And it didn't hit because he missed the cut. And, I could look at that and go, okay, I'm writing him off. He missed the cut, whatever. But this is the tip. This is just the tip right here. You got to sometimes dig a little bit. You got to dig into the details. Dig into the dirt. Let's figure out what happened to Lucas Glover last week at the 3M Open. And upon review, I looked at his scorecard for round 1 and round 2. Wasn't bad. He had no doubles, so it wasn't like there was some big blow-up hole. One of the days, I can't remember which one, he actually, I'll pull it up right now.
There's a lot of water out there for blow-ups. There
is, and he avoided all of it. Okay, so round 1, he had 2 birdies, 2 bogeys, even par. Now, that's not great because a lot of guys were shooting 3 or 4 under. He just wasn't converting. Okay, round 2, he had 5 birdies and 2 bogeys. Shot 3 under. Not a bad day. He missed the cut by 1 shot. 1 shot. And I was looking around. I was like, God, what was the hole? Like, where was the biggest missed opportunity for Lucas? And there were some missed opportunities round 1, especially on the par 5s. There were some missed opportunities. He parred 2 of the par 5s, 2 out of the 3. Probably some missed opportunity. But on day 2, on round 2, when he shot 3 under, on number 10, he lost over a stroke putting on that 1 hole. He made bogey. He made 5 when he should have made a 4. He lost over a stroke. Now, remember, he missed the cut by 1 shot. What did he do on that 1 hole, Pat? Well, I went back and I looked at ShotLink. He hit it to 19 feet in his approach shot. Had a 19-foot birdie putt.
Pretty decent approach.
Decent approach. Hit the first putt about 4 feet to about 4 feet. Not great. And then he missed that one. So he 3-putted from 19 feet. Now, the average tour player 3-putts from 19 feet 1.5% of the time. That's data. That's called data. Okay. Lucas Glover is way worse than your average PGA Tour putter. So let's just say, and I bet it's not this, but let's just say it's double, and it's 3%. 97 out of 100 times, Lucas Glover 2-putts from 19 feet or better. And he didn't do it. And he missed the cut on the number. Now, you say, David, so what? What if he'd have made the cut? Who knows what he would have done? He could have sucked. Yes, he could have. Bo Hostler, your favorite, fathead, big visor kid.
I almost mentioned him as a first-round leader. Kind of left that one out.
He kind of snuck in. He wasn't doing great. I think he was 5 under. The cut was 4 under after day 2. He kind of snuck in. He shot 8 under on the weekend. He went off on the weekend and finished 13th. It could happen. And I think reminding yourself at times of those razor-thin margins, and sometimes if you like a player, if you like where a player's at recently and you see a miscut or you see a weird finish, sometimes it behooves you to go dig in the dirt a little bit, dig in the detail a little bit, because now I feel less worse. I feel better about Lucas Glover's 3M Open despite the miscut. Therefore, I kind of want to bet him here. South Carolina boy. I know this is North Carolina, but Carolina boy went to Clemson. Good record here. Still hitting it great. Don't love that it might be a putting contest, but so there's just the tip. Don't be afraid to dig in the dirt a little bit.
I like it. It's a good one. That's a good tip.
Thank you, Patrick. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll do some other fun stuff. We'll talk about I don't know what we could talk about. We got to do our cash game lineup, huh?
Yeah, let's make it better than last week's.
All right, let's do that. We'll be right back on the Better Sports Network. See you.
Now back to Tour Junkies.
Damn it! Hit one good fucking iron shot.
I don't think you like that one.
On Better Sports Network.
Welcome back to the Tour Junkies Golf Show on the Better Sports Network. Final few minutes here with us talking about the Wyndham Championship. Let's talk about the golf course. Let's look at the top end of the board here, Pat. We'll wrap up with our DraftKings DFS cash game lineup that has to be better than last week. Okay. Top of the betting board here is let's see if things have moved around a little bit, shall we? Because I think they have. There's been some market adjustment here since Monday. Hideki Matsuyama, your current favorite for the most part on most sites, around 18 to 20 to 1, followed by Russell Henley, Siwoo Kim, Sung Jae Im, who opened as a favorite on a lot of sites, Sam Burns, Denny McCarthy, kind of in that 25 to 1 range or shorter. Denny's caught a little bit of steam. Sung Jae's gone the opposite way. Siwoo's caught some steam. What do you think?
Well, I really like Denny at 25 to 1. I think, we talked about Hodges at the beginning of the show about how I'd kind of been, talking him up some this year. We've both been on Denny McCarthy most of the year. We missed a win at the Memorial. I think we could get one here on a course that he should play well on. So I do like Denny at 25 to 1. I like Hideki at 18 to 1. I'm starting to feel, though, a little queasy about that one. I tell you what, though, Sam Burns at 25 to 1 is starting to feel appealing to me.
Yeah, I guess Sam's kind of gone a little bit the wrong way, huh? Because I think the best number you could get on him Monday was like 22.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing about Sam Burns. We talked about it on the show. Like he is a high ceiling, low floor dude.
Yeah, he is. Kind of like Siwoo, who's at 20 to 1.
Now he's shorter than Sam. Which I think, I don't know.
Who would you go with between Sam and Siwoo?
Oh, so hard. I mean, yesterday or Monday, I think I would have said Siwoo's a little bit. He was 25 and Burns was 22. And now it's flipped. I mean, they're kind of the same. They're very similar players.
Yeah.
I mean, pound for pound, Burns is probably the better player overall, long term.
Maybe trust him a little more on the greens.
Definitely trust him more on the greens. No, that's a fact. I mean, Siwoo gets a bump here though because of his record here, and Sedgefield is one of those places that's definitely shown, a lot of predictive power in terms of course history.
Yeah, I mean, he's had 3 top 5s in a row here, Siwoo.
But you put Burns on Bermuda, buddy, and it don't matter. You could be playing you could be playing on the moon.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, if I'm looking at my 3 favorites up here, it's Siwoo, Burns, and McCarthy. If I probably have to nail down 2, it's going to be Burns and McCarthy for me.
I don't know. TBD for me, man. I don't want to. I can't commit to the top yet. I would love to see this weather kind of shape out. It's changed a good bit. There could be some delays. This could be. This is the weather thing is starting to look like it could be one of those tournaments where at the end of it, you're like, I wish I just would have stayed away or live bet it.
Yeah.
Because if there's delays and there's like going to be like ball in hand situation and guys are going to have to play more than 18 holes in a day because of delays, like it could just get all thrown to hell.
Yeah, I mean that's that could be a good way to do it. There could be some guys on there that you really target to bet, but you just wait maybe till they at least finish the first round and then just see how the numbers reshuffle.
Yeah.
And then bet from there. Because I don't see in this field, like if you're looking across the board, a lot of like just tremendous value that I feel like I gotta grab. You know
A
what I
lot
mean?
of
Like,
it is gone after yesterday.
yeah, it
I
just
mean,
it's left.
another example near the top is Alex Smalley, who's at 40-1 on MGM, 35-1 everywhere else, but opened wasn't he? Didn't he open at like 70 yesterday?
Yeah.
His odds have been slashed. He's got the member narrative being played. He's from here. This is his home course, which everybody talked about the last couple years, and he's played well. I think he's finished like 27th and 13th the last 2 years. And he's nearly won on the PGA Tour just a couple weeks ago. So I mean, Smalley's definitely a good one, but 35-1, 40-1 in this field has been steamed to the point of I don't feel good about it.
Yeah, I agree. It's just, again, I don't see anybody that's, we've got great value on to fire in on right
I
this
think
second.
Lowry's still a good value.
Yeah,
I mean,
33-1. Is that the best number you're seeing?
Yep. We talked about him, at the top of the show in terms of FedEx Cup stuff, and he needs the top 20. But I mean, just again, I think long term, he's been arguably the third, fourth, or fifth best player in this field long term. And he's had a consistent year. We know he can win. I just think 33 seems like a really nice value there. And JT Poston was a value yesterday at 40.
Exactly what I was about to say, at 40-1.
Mm-hmm. But now he's
yeah.
30 is the best number.
Mm-hmm.
JT, now the thing that concerns me with JT is just thinking about how much golf he's played and the travel. This will be his 5th tournament in a row. He's gone to Scotland, then back home from England for the Open. Didn't he play the Genesis Scottish? He played the Genesis Scottish.
He played the Scottish, yeah.
So I don't know, 5th in a row. I mean, I know he's hot. It's the tournament he's won. He's a North Carolina kid, but I'm glad I got him yesterday at 40 because I feel worse about it.
I tell you the one that I don't think has gotten it. You were looking at these numbers early yesterday, so maybe it was the one that I have seen that hasn't changed a ton since I was really looking at it. Is Cam Davis. He's still at 45 to he was at 45-1. That's what I was looking at yesterday. He feels like another one that I would fire on that number.
I don't mind Cam. He has played well on less than driver courses, kind of shorter, more positional courses. Played well last week. I don't mind that one. The last one I'll tell you that has steamed a ton is Brendan Todd. Brendan Todd opened at like 90 or 100. His odds have been cut in half. He's at 50 to 55 pretty much everywhere. So if you missed out on the Todd father, you missed out. But I mean, this is going to be one of those weeks where it's so tough. You hanging in the balance of like, I want the early Monday outright value so that I have great closing line value on Thursday morning. But then with the weather, come Friday, you could be looking at it going, God, I wish I just would have waited on everything because I've either wasted units on these guys because they got screwed, or I don't have enough of these guys who are going to have the far better end of this whole situation. That could be what we're talking about at the top of the show next week. So, all right, let's get into the DraftKings cash game lineup, 50-50 or double up cash lineup. Only trying to get 6 guys through the cut, which Pat pitifully did not do last week.
And the problem was, DB, and you mentioned this on the show, was all the chalk that didn't hit last week. And I took too much chalk. So,
yikes. All right. Well, I'm going to start since you screwed the pooch last week. So I'm going to start. I'm going to start. I actually think Lowry is a cash play at 9,500.
Okay. I don't mind that. I think that, again, you've got the narrative with the FedEx Cup and all of that he's trying to he's trying to make it in there in top 70. Okay. This is where I feel like I got too cute last week. I got a little cute after the first pick.
Okay. But you said you went chalk. What, I mean, you
Yeah, but it just, I'd have to go back and look. But there was a few that weren't chalky that were just terrible. Like, I want to go Billy Horschel here, but I feel like that's getting a little cute.
Ooh, that's an let's wait. Let's see what happens.
So you want to put him in there now?
No,
No.
I'm saying let's hold off. I could be convinced either way, but I think let's just see what we come up with.
All right. Well, I feel a lot more confidence with Denny McCarthy.
Okay. Yep, me too.
If we get him in there at 8,700, it's going to drop us just under 8K.
All right, I'm going to try to look through and get us some salary relief. So I'm going to go down in the 7s, and I like. There's a number of guys in here I really do like. I think we go with Brendan Todd. Do you like Todd? I want us to agree on this.
No, I do like Todd a lot. I think it says a lot too the way his numbers getting steamed on his betting odds. So I like that. Okay.
Yep. Good record here.
Yeah.
Good short course precision player with obviously a hot putter. Actually, his record actually is not very good here, but it's good the last couple of years. He's kind of figured it out, maybe.
Okay, now, I almost want to drop down a little bit and look at somebody there, but I'm not getting a whole lot of confidence for cash. I do like Alex Noren.
I looked at him. I could go Noren. He's been playing well.
All right, let's go Noren.
68, 66 on the weekend at the 3M. What's he done here? What's his record here? He hadn't played it since 2019. He finished T60. Is he in the... Where is he? Let me look him up on the FedEx Cup. He is 102. So, I mean, you'd have to win to make it in the top 70. Yeah. I'm good with that. I like Noren.
Okay.
So we got 2 picks left, 85.50 on average. And we've not, I don't know. I mean, Noren's probably not, it's not super chalk there. I think we avoid Horschel at this point. We could eat some chalk and go with the North Carolina Alex Smalley at 8,100.
Yeah, I mean, that was going to be my next one that was who I was also thinking about before Noren, but
that leaves us 9K. We got to hustle.
I mean, if we do that, then I think we have to go with Siwoo Kim.
All right. I like it. Shane Lowry, Siwoo Kim, Denny McCarthy, Alex Smalley, Brendan Todd, Alex Noren. That is your 50-50 or double up cash lineup on the Better Sports Network. Listen, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back next week for the first playoff event of the season. Top 70 players going to be in. It's going to be a stacked field. Looking forward to it. And may your screens be green. Bend over your bookies. Have a week. See ya.